Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Live It Up, the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life that feels good, because after all, that's what we ultimately want. We just want to feel good. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson. Today on the show, we're visiting with two individuals that I think are just all around great people. They're knowledgeable, they have integrity, and they care about our community and make a difference in our community. We're going to be visiting with Jeff and Angel Hallman, who are the owners of Agent 509, powered by Keller Williams NCW Realty. I have no doubt you have driven by their office, located at 500 North Wenatchee Avenue. And you know by now, I love sitting down and talking shop with entrepreneurs. Why? Because, well, number one, they're the heartbeat of this country. And they're usually so full of creativity, drive, curiosity, motivation, and inspiration. And these two definitely fit that description. Plus, they're a bit unique because they're also husband and wife. They're a husband and wife team, which I assume comes with some advantages and challenges. We'll find out all about it pretty soon. But I do know this, they've made it work. And we'll find out why Agent 509 is such a unique real estate office in our town and why you may want to consider working with them when it comes to your next listing, when it's next time to buy or list your home. So, but before we get to that, I do want to remind you that if you have questions you would like us to answer on or off the air, you can email those directly to me at fletcher@fletcherellingson.com. You can also visit me at my website, fletcherellingson.com, where I've got a variety of free resources there. You can take the happiness quiz. You can download my free ebook, or just reach out to me and let's have a conversation. You don't have to figure it out all on your own. There are answers and solutions and ways to get unstuck and move forward powerfully. Now, at this point in the show, I usually take time to answer an email question and offer some coaching, but today, we're going to skip that part. I want to give some additional time to our guests, Jeff and Angel, today. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll be right back. Stay with us. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live It Up. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you're in this conversation. Today we got a couple of guests. To my right is Angel and Jeff Hallman. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Well, you know, while we're here, we're going to talk shop. We're going to talk about entrepreneur. We're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about land use. But first, we've got to talk about the wins. So, Angel, you're in the hot seat. Give me a win or two. What's going well in your life?
Trying to juggle work and then family is always a win for me. My nephew, 4-year-old nephew, is here visiting from Idaho, and he's just a hoot. He's a big dancer, and so he tries to get us to dance with him, and we do, and so it's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so being able to juggle basically family life, my mom, who I take care of, and being able to work is really just, for me, I love spending time with my family, so they're very important. So.
Yeah, so the win is that you are prioritizing and making time for your nephew, for your mom, for work, and for the two of you, right?
Excellent, yep.
Yeah, right on. That's a good win, yeah. Jeff, how about you? What's going on for you?
A lot of things, but I'm glad Angel gets to spend time with her family. I mean, that's a win for me and her nephews, or our nephew. He's so cute, you know.
Does he get you out dancing too?
Yeah, I've done a few dances with him on the big screen. It's pretty funny, and we enjoy that. And things are going good. I mean, we have good health, and our families are doing really well. And, you know, in the end, that's probably what I cherish, too.
Yeah.
It's just that.
Yeah, family, health, mobility. I mean, health we take for granted. And, you know, I heard this saying, like, a rich man has all sorts of dreams, right? A sick person has one. They just want to get well. Right?
Yeah.
And we have our health, we have our mobility, and things are going well in business. So
we're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's been a challenge. There's so many commentaries about where it's going and where it's at, but we just, at Agent 519, we're just putting our head down. And we're really doing the same thing we did a year ago or 3 years ago. Hasn't really changed.
Yeah, producing results.
It's all about results.
Yeah. Cool. And there's a new development in the Agent 519 office. Angel, you are a new secret weapon for the team, right?
Yes.
You really are. Because not every real estate office has what they have in you. So you are a land use advisor.
Correct.
So before we dive into what that is, tell us where you got all your experience from.
Well, I actually, when I got out of school, I took a temporary job, and then I found a job with Chelan County in the building and planning department. And I applied, and I found it very, very fascinating because we are all used to the American dream, and you want to basically own property and stuff. And I found it very interesting that you had all these regulations. I'm like, what? Like, that really took me by surprise. And so just learning basically how government works, how you have to follow regulations. There's setbacks basically to where you want to place your home that people don't think about, people don't know. And so it becomes challenging. And sometimes it's hard to maneuver through the process, through government especially. So I've found that very fascinating. And so I worked there for 21 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I did 5 years processing building permits, commercial, residential building permits for the county.
Residential and commercial?
Yeah, and then I answered a lot of land use questions on, for kind of the planners. I was basically the counter person for about 5 years as well. And then I transferred into code enforcement, and I did code enforcement pretty much the remainder of my career, did management, did training. So yeah, I learned a lot basically over the years, and
you've got a PhD basically in
well, I don't know about that.
land use. Dang, I mean, 21 years. I'm sure you acquired just a ton of valuable knowledge. And it's funny, it's funny to hear you say, "Oh, I think it's fascinating to learn how the government works." I mean, that would be one of the last things that I want to figure out how the government works. That seems like a dark pit. But I'm glad there are people like you who do find it fascinating and can actually take that information and then begin to implement it. Because, like you said, people, they don't know what regulations go with what piece of land and what the setbacks are. In fact, most people don't even know the questions to ask. Would you agree with that?
That's correct. And I think that's one of the biggest struggles for people, because it does, you go into an office and you assume that the person helping you is going to basically guide you, and sometimes they don't. I mean, sometimes they're new, they're learning the stuff, and it takes a long time to learn regulations and stuff. But yeah, I mean, they're there to help facilitate business, but a lot of people don't see that. They see them as basically the block that's restricting development and stuff, because they don't get to do what they want to do or place their home where they want to.
Right.
So it presents a lot of challenges and stuff. But that's what I find very fascinating, is just all the regulations. I was like, wow, this was way beyond what I could ever know.
Yes.
So, and it wasn't my choice of, say, something that I actually thought that I would enjoy. I needed a job, and I applied for a job, and I was like, wow, this is very interesting. And of course, for me, I have to be interested in something to basically enjoy it, right? So yeah, I think a lot of people thought I was crazy, enjoying, my job with code enforcement and all these things. But I just always found things very fascinating. But I think the most important thing that I enjoyed was doing research on properties and trying to find basically solutions to basically, get projects to basically move forward and get closure.
I got to interrupt right there, because this is a really good point. I think a lot of people, and probably myself included in the past, we've thought as the code enforcers and people in your position were there to squelch our projects, to make them as hard as possible and to make them as expensive as possible. But that's really not the case. I mean, if we come with the attitude of hey, help us understand how to do this in a way that streamlines the operation, and if it streamlines, it's going to save us money as well, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of headaches.
Yes.
Let's get the answers before we get too far into this project.
Correct.
Yeah. So On that note, I know you guys have worked with some clients, and Jeff, you mentioned fortunately Angel was on this job because she ended up saving this client a bunch of money. Can you guys? We don't have to use names, obviously, but can you share like an example of where that really came into play?
Well, to begin with, I wasn't really. I didn't understand I guess the vocabulary of all these terminologies, right? So that's number one is what are these words that the county's saying or the state's saying? I mean, that's number one.
Yeah, what are the words and what do those words mean?
What do they mean, right? And how does that fit in? And so a lot of times the sellers don't understand that. They don't know what they don't know. And so it really starts with that basic, not that I know, right? But so you get more familiar when you start hanging around this terminology.
Sure.
But some of them can mean really big things, like you have an easement going through your property that you can't change. And what does that easement mean? It means that you can't build over it. That is there like a brick wall. It's just you can't see it. And or you have.
And these easements aren't always necessarily marked, right? They're not like.
Oh, there's no road sign saying stop. Okay, there's none of that. There's also zoning. There's not a sign like if you go through a school it says slow down, kids. There's not zoning to put. They just don't understand, and part of this is the history of these changes. They really occurred. What growth management was 2001. 2000. So our great grandparents didn't really deal with it. It's a new terminology they didn't understand, and now you put it forward to their would be our parents. That was enacted during their time frame, and they didn't have time. They're busy. They didn't really understand this, and so the idea of central control is really starting at the state and county level because they're controlling what people can do. And you don't understand those controls until you really get in, and people, what we try to do, and Angel's really been helpful in that, is decipher what does all that mean? Where's the limitations? What's the opportunity? It takes a lot of time. I mean,
yeah, I like those two terms too. What are the limitations and what are the opportunities? Both of which we may have missed. So we need a specialist to point both of those things out, right?
And where do you find it?
Yeah,
that's kind of where Angel kind of helped, is just helping our clients, just helping really our brokers that we have on Agent 509, and then helping our clients. Not everything's paid. We're just trying to help, and the longer she discovers, the more I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not the project, but
and she probably mentioned that to you.
Yeah.
Hey, back off, Jack.
Yeah, no, but it's one of those. It's God, how do I say it? It's like you don't know what you don't know, and what tends to happen is people will get mad at the messenger.
Yeah. Right.
And not understand the message, right?
Yeah.
So we try to work on the message and what does that really mean, and that's what she does, because we all want to get along.
Yeah.
With brokers and with everybody, it's not that, but it is very complicated. It's a matrix.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think he answered your question.
What's an example of where perhaps there's been
I'm sorry.
Yeah, savings, or you save someone's neck?
For instance, when you go in and develop a property, we work with our clients and we do a pre-app. We want to know, hey, what's the opportunity to develop it? And one of the things that they told us in the pre-app is that we needed a secondary access. We didn't have a secondary access, so I told the seller, and he's like, oh, that's cool, interesting, but he doesn't really understand maybe what that means. That means that's a $500,000 to $1 million investment just for a secondary access. So that's where we got Angel involved, and in about 3 to 4 months with her contacts, really worked up a plan where we didn't need it.
Nice.
And so you don't feel the ramifications because it never happened, but it's like avoiding an accident.
Yeah, a costly one.
So
right?
it meant potentially having to go to the neighbors and buy a piece of property,
which I did,
to gain access, and so, yeah, it's. I
mean, you knock on doors,
right?
And then you got to explain, and then they have leverage. Okay, it's really working against your customer. And then it's a 4 to 5 month process, just that.
Yeah. So you're able to identify potential pitfalls, and sidestep them, or build a bridge over them to avoid the big consequence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Well, hey, let's end there. We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
Stay with us. We're going to be back more with Angel and Jeff Hallman. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live It Up. So glad you're here. We're talking with Jeff and Angel Hallman from Agent 509 and
509 Consulting.
And 509 Consulting, which is Angel's business specifically for land use. If you're looking for an expert, 21 years experience with the county and then some. So, which is really cool because the reason I said in the top of the hour was you're a unique real estate brokerages. Who else has got what you have? You have got real estate professionals, you've got land use specialists, you've got Skip Hughes, who is a financial guru, right? You got Debbie and Kyle and Lisa.
Yes.
You got quite a team, and built into the team, you have some very special, some specialties that other people just don't have. So if you're looking, if people are looking to do land specifically, land is such a different beast altogether.
It's crazy.
You want to be with some people who have your skill sets, right? And you're offering your services with part of Agent 509, but also separately. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Yes, that's
Yeah, so you can take on gigs, even if someone's not looking to buy or sell, they can hire you independently.
Correct.
Got it. Awesome. Now, you're also unique because you guys are married. You created this business and you've survived creating this business together. So how is it working together?
Oh, it's good. It's actually really great because, there's somebody there to help. That this isn't always an 8 to 5 gig.
Right.
Okay, and it doesn't follow a linear path. We are working with human beings, and but Angel's intent is to help. That's the whole mission.
Yeah.
Even if we don't get a sale or it doesn't work out, you get to know people and you feel for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a cut and dry thing. You just try to help, and sometimes it takes years. It's a process.
But it also takes us, in my opinion, it kind of takes a special type of couple to be able to work together and then okay, babe, time to go home, and now you're home together. So you've been home, you've been at work together. How is that for you, Angel?
Actually, it's actually really all not that bad. We've been married for almost 23 years, so I think we pretty much have our routines, He takes off, goes to the gym, I go home and cook, but no, it's actually not bad at all.
Oh, that's
great. It's pretty easy. And like I said, I get the flexibility to run home and take care of my mom, do things that I need to, take her to Seattle for doctor's appointments, and so it works out good. Yeah.
Well, the two of you must have an intimate knowledge of kind of what your days are like, obviously, because you're there for a large part of it together, right? So you must have a good understanding of this is what my partner's going through, and hopefully that helps with a little bit of compassion and empathy too.
Well, our office, and there's, Kyle, Debbie, Lisa, Skip, there's that interaction, but we're crazy.
Yeah.
There's a bit of craziness to each one of us within the office, but we all know, we're just trying, at the end of the day, we're getting stuff done.
Right.
And it works, and Angel fits in really well with that because she does get stuff done.
And all your crazy kind of complements each other. It allows you to make progress, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. But she's done really great and helped out to wherever she can, and I think it's a good fit.
Yeah. And you know what I love too about these guys is if you list your house with them or your property with them, one of the things that is so impressive is these guys have told me stories when you go to do an open house, and if the yard's not up to your satisfaction, these guys get out, they bring their mowers and their trimmers and their hedge clippers, or they're out pulling weeds. You guys go the extra mile for your clients. That is amazing to drive by a home that has an open house going on and see you guys out there, helping manicure the place. That's above and beyond. And again, that's something, again, why that helps distinguish you from other brokerages. Very cool.
I think staying active, that's it, you know, like just staying active, however we can help somebody. I mean, obviously, those are small things, but just sitting there, I can't do it.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is, hey, don't manicure the lawn, I'll take care of that.
Well, you know, we'll conversation about that, but wherever we can help. Selling a home is kind of crazy in itself.
Yeah.
I feel for sellers and buyers too, because there's a lot happening at once.
Yeah.
Wherever we can, you know, that's just how we're doing.
And every transaction is totally different, isn't it? Every listing, every property is a different beast unto itself. Yeah.
Everyone, you got to be on site. I mean, showing up is 90% of the game. You know, you can't do this on Instagram, social media, like none of that. You got to be on site.
Yeah, I want to share one thing too, because this is pretty cool. You were sharing a story with me about some vacant property that you had in the area that I'm listing for, and you asked one of your sales reps to go out and do an open house.
Kyle Hurst.
Yeah.
Yep.
For land.
Yeah.
And I thought this was so cool and so creative, because who does an open house for land? Well, you guys decided to, and
we called it the open house with no house event.
Yes, I love it.
Okay, so here's why. So it's so funny about open houses. Everybody knows like countertops. You can see them. You can touch them. You can see the bathrooms. But land, you can't see. I mean, you can see it, but you don't understand all the issues.
Right.
Hence,
yes,
that was our deal. And,
yeah.
And Kyle had a great time.
Yeah, and you guys had lots of interest, didn't you, as a result of that?
Lots of interest. He brought a cooler and just hung out there and met a lot of people. So that's something we're going to implement more and more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Super creative. Yeah, a great team. Let's see. Hey, Angel, if somebody has questions about their piece of land that they want to get some consulting on, or they want to list with you guys, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, we have our office number. That's 509-315-3630. And they can go online and reach us. And we have an office at 500 North Wenatchee Avenue. Noyd Insurance. Mike Noyd is my landlord. So we're right next to Mike. And yeah, we're there.
And you have online? Do you have a
website? Yep, that's agent509.com.
Okay.
And it always starts with just meeting in person.
Great.
That's how it starts.
Yeah. And is there ever any cost for the initial consultation?
No.
No.
No, we want to make sure people feel comfortable, and we do all our net sheets up front. There's no hiding and none of that stuff. It's not what we do.
Yeah, these guys are totally transparent. Really appreciate that about them. Hey, thanks for being on the show. Time flies, but I got to wrap this up. So it's time now for you to get out there, be a source of kindness, be a source of contribution. You do have something to offer this world, and I believe in you.